15-year-old hops on steroids and lies about it.
July 2024, Joe Biden steps out of the US presidential race, leaving Kamala Harris as the presumptive candidate. Donald J. Trump survives an attempt.
Bro, you remember when we watched that debate on stream? That show was nuts. Those were fun streams, though. Watching those debates. Oh, my God. That was, how long, when were those debates? That was June of 24. So that was almost 2 years ago. Wow.
Greg Doucette uploads a Natty or not on Hussein Farhad, deeming it impossible for him to be natural, but which one singular blood test convinced him of the impossible. And 13-year-old Eric English posts a picture on Instagram looking like this. And just a little over 1 year later, this is what he looks like. The kid is on steroids.
See, here's the problem, is steroids is easy to spot with older people. Like, if I jumped on gear, you would know. Like, I would immediately gain an absurd amount of weight. But when you're, like, 13 to 16, you could gain, like, 30 pounds in a year pretty quickly. Like, when I was a freshman, I started the year at like 125, 130, ended the year at like 165. Like, you can gain weight quick. He benches 405. Okay, he's on steroids. Never mind.
But let's be real here.
Never mind.
Okay, anyone with 2 brain cells to rub
Thank you, Sketty, for the accurate info input.
together saw this coming from a mile away. The kid practically got groomed by the industry into becoming a little SARM goblin.
Well, it's also just like the problem with fitness influencers in general is the bigger you are, the better you do. And so there's like a financial incentive to just get on gear because your posts are going to do better. You're going to get more likes. You're going to have more sponsors, right? Like, if you're trying to get, you know, all these energy drink companies and, you know, Gymshark, Young LA, all these clothing brands, they want, what is gear? Gear is like an all-encompassing term for like SARMs, Tren, just any steroid in general that would be illegal in an a tested bodybuilding like competition. HGH, is HGH gear? No. I don't know if you're allowed to do HGH in an open or a tested bodybuilding league though. But HGH you could buy at GNC. I don't know. I don't know the rules on that. But nobody would really say you're on gear if you're on HGH. Somebody's saying you're on gear if you're on like SARMs or more.
Between Larry Wheels asking Eric when he plans on hopping on steroids as if that's a normal question to ask a 14-year-old.
I did become enhanced at 17. Is that something that you're willing to do in the future?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Whatever it takes?
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. That's the mindset I had.
Young LA just jumping at the opportunity to sponsor him and provide him with a direct
He has 1.5 million followers.
network of other teenagers on steroids. And then this monstrosity right here, this bloated, watery, juiced up 19-year-old mess, most likely directly influencing Eric.
No, you know who's the worst right now? Andrei Smayev. Andrei Smayev is, okay, he's not a teenager, so I know this is on the topic of, like, teens doing steroids. Andrei Smayev is taking so many fucking... If you're not in the influencer space, or the fitness space, you wouldn't know who Smayev is. This guy's 27. This guy is 3 years older than me.
Okay, perfect.
Look at him. Like... The amount of gear this guy is on is... And look at his fucking hands, man. Oh my God, I gotta mute that. Look at his fucking biceps, dude. I mean, he looks 45. Like, it's unreal. That the amount of muscle that guy's gained in, like, 5 years.
Eric to hop on gear, it becomes very clear that he stood absolutely no chance from the beginning. The kid got absolutely one-shotted by the shitness industry. But let's recap everything from the start. I actually remember Eric coming across my Instagram feed about 2 years ago as a 13-year-old kid getting into fitness. He blew up pretty much...
The problem, too, is people are gonna fucking shit on you. Like, I don't think it's just the fitness influencers that were around him that might have been influencing him to get on gear, but it's also just like... If you're going to openly post your gym progress on Instagram, the amount of chuds that are going to fucking shit on you is insane. The amount of people that are going to be like, you're fucking... It's like not even the black belt community. It's just a bunch of like gym heads that are just dickheads. because they want to put other people down to make themselves seem like bigger in their own mind. So if you're like, hey, I'm just starting to work out, they're going to be like, yeah, buddy, you have no potential. I could tell by your structure you're not going to be able to put on muscle. Why do steroids make you look older? You lose your hair, you get acne, you're just going to age a bit more. Are you tired of having to transfer money from your Cash App account to be able to spend it at the store? Well, all your problems are now solved with the all-new customizable Cash App debit card. With no monthly charges or minimum balance requirements and exclusive cardholder perks, the Cash App card is the card for you. Not only does the Cash App debit card give you exclusive discounts on things that you get every single day, like coffee, food delivery, video games, and more, but also exclusive pre-sale ticket access to some of your favorite artists like Kendrick Lamar, SZA, Sabrina Carpenter, Drake, and more. And for a limited time only, new Cash App customers over the age of 18 can earn $10 if they use code CASH10 in their profile at sign up and send $5 to a friend or more within the first 14 days. And if you're 13 to 17, request a parent or guardian sponsored account, sign up with code CASH10 to get $10 dropped into your account when you order and activate a Cash App card, and send $5 or more to a friend within the first 14 days. Terms apply. Thank you to Cash App for sponsoring this video, and let's get back into it.
Often that you see a little kid hitting lat spreads and stomach vacuums, and credit where credit's due, okay? The kid looked amazing for a 13-year-old.
Yeah, he's got a lot of muscle.
Please don't clip that out of context. Okay, I promise I'm not in any Jeff Nipstein flight logs. But it's true, right? Look at his physique. Right, look at the biceps, look at the serratus, look at the vacuum pose. I mean, keep in mind, this kid is 13 years old. Okay, I would have killed to look like this at 13. I mean, come on. 1.7
Dude, 1.7 million likes is nuts.
million likes. And so, as expected,
He looks starved. He was doing a vacuum, which is when you, like, suck in, like, you're like... I can't even... Oh, my God, that just made me cramp. Oh, I can't even do a vacuum like that. That hurt. Minus aura. Yeah, out of my prime. Getting a bit old? No, I just don't do fucking vacuums. I was supposed to go to the gym today, and I didn't, though. I think I am starting to get smaller. I don't have the abs like Clav.
would be flocking to sponsor this kid, the main one being Young LA. And it makes sense from a business perspective.
I worked with Young LA for like 4 months. I don't think they really got many returns on my code, though, so...
Right, Eric has
Didn't really continue from there.
a lot of eyes on him. Whether it's okay from an ethical standpoint, though, we'll get into later. But so he gets sponsored by Young LA fairly early on the 23rd of November 2023. This post by Rising Lifters reads, "This is crazy. 13-year-old Eric English has become the youngest ever Young LA athlete.
See, here's the thing, though, is like Young LA isn't Young LA has a weird... Most energy drink brands like Gorilla Mind or Young LA or like any of those companies, they're not guaranteed giving you a salary. Like, some of it might just flat out be like an affiliate code, but the affiliate code is only given to a set amount of people. Does that make sense? Where, like, Young LA does have people on salary. Like, some of their what is Young LA? Thought Young LA was close. It is. Young LA is a fitness brand, like Gymshark. I'm just talking about, like, broad fitness sponsors in general. Like, just because you have a code doesn't mean that you didn't get paid. It doesn't mean that you're getting paid monthly. A lot of the time it does. I'm assuming for somebody at his size, in terms of followers, he was probably getting, like, you know, maybe like $5K a month or something like that. On top of whatever, like, affiliate code they were giving him.
Documenting his
Maybe more, actually. He was getting 1 million likes a post. He was probably getting paid more.
incredible fitness journey.
It's amazing for 13. Yeah, but the other problem is, like, when you're that young in the space, you're just gonna get conned, bro. They're gonna lowball the fuck out of you. If you don't have a management agency and this 13-year-old is negotiating with a company, they're just gonna pay him shit.
Has amassed over 800,000 followers on Instagram, attracting the big...
I'm not saying Young LA is. I don't think they would. Young LA, when I worked with them, was a pretty decent company. But... I don't know what type of deal he would have gotten.
biggest brands in the industry. Now, due to the sponsorship, he of course immediately...
How does somebody that young get roids? That guy right behind him? Any gym influencer? If you were, like, really into lifting and you're like when I was 15 going to the gym, I could have just asked around and somebody would have gotten me roids at some point. Because you got to keep in mind, these kids aren't going to Planet Fitness, right? Like, they're not working out at some fucking chain gym. They're working out at, like... not a 24-hour. They're working out at like a 6 a.m. to like 8 p.m. gym, just full of like meatheads. Like, there's like half the guys are on roids.
He starts collabing with big roided up names in the industry, like Eric Janicki for example, from HTLT Supplements. He's now fully entered the fitness industrial complex and there's no way back for him. June 6, 2024, a video of him posing gets 271,000 likes. One day later, June 7th, 2024, he already starts making steroid jokes. August 15th, 2024, he goes to a Young LA event and gets to meet some incredible influences, like self-proclaimed steroid, gambling, and drug addict Togi. 10 days later, he posts a video of him posing alongside Noel Dizel, and you can tell that Eric is slowly but surely packing on size. Very, very impressive for a 14-year-old. September 18th, 2024, Eric appears to have started a pretty significant bulk and is looking a lot fluffier. He's now wanting to put on as much size as possible. October.
He still doesn't look like he's on steroids, though. Like, the problem with telling, like, if this kid's on steroids is really just, like, what he's lifting. Like, I know I was like, oh, when he's benching 405, I'm like, this kid's on roids. Just because he looks like the person that has a build that he could bench maybe like 225 if he was really lifting. Like, there were guys in my high school that were sophomores benching 500, but they were also 320-pound linebackers, right? Like, they were 6'4" and 330. You know, this kid looks 5'7". Like, if you're like 5'7" and you're benching 405, you're like one of the strongest people in your age range ever.
October 12th, 2024, Eric goes to the Olympics.
For how big you are.
Again, gets to meet influencers like Larry Wheels, infamous fake Natty Tristan Lee, and Nick the Mutant Walker.
Dude, I remember being so jealous of Tristan, because I think Tristan Lee is around my age. I remember being so jealous of Tristan Lee when I was younger. Yeah, Tristan Lee's my age. I remember being so jealous of him, and I was like, it's because he's short. That's why he looks so good. That's why he has a six-pack. Who's Tristan Lee? Some fitness influencer.
2nd of January 2025, his infamous collab with Larry Wheels. We'll circle back to this in a bit. So at this point, start of 2025, this is what Eric now looks like. Very impressive physique. He actually has a good amount of muscle on his frame. He also still appears to be natural here. His progress up until this point seems to be indicative of a young kid that has just recently started puberty and has a passion for working out. But only 6 months later, his comment section on Instagram would blow up with people spamming needle emojis and accusing him of being on steroids. And once you see his 8-month transformation, it all starts to make sense why.
6 months?
I mean, come on. It looks
I don't know, bro. There were guys in my high school that were that big. There were, like, I mean, some of my chatters, I know the transformation's nuts, but, like, he's not shredded like that. Like, this guy probably is, like, 18% body fat. Like, that's not that unreasonable. You're going through puberty, you're lifting all the time, and he's probably eating a shitload, and he's hanging out with influencers, and he has a reason to just constantly lift. I don't want to be, like, playing devil's advocate here, but I used to watch Do Sets Natty or Not videos. I used to watch, like, all the shit about David Lade. And, like, a lot of those guys, yeah, were on fucking roids. But, like, some of the time, it would just be like, yeah, he's on roids, look at him. I'm like, you can't just say, look at him, he's on roids. Like, yeah, a big thing that people point towards steroids is, like, your shoulders, because your shoulders gain a lot of muscles when you're on steroids because there's some, like, receptors there or some shit. I don't know the science about it. His shoulders aren't that big.
like the guy on the left ate the guy on the right. You know how people usually tell you to trust the process when it comes to working out? This kid has skipped the process entirely. This is an insane 6-month transformation. I mean, Eric practically had the entire fitness industry shocked. And understandably so, right? One moment he looks like a freshman, 6 months later he looks like he's repeating senior year for the 5th time. I mean, he must have somehow been able to get his hands on Hussein Farhat's elusive broomstick and ladder workout routine. That's the only way I can make sense of this insane transformation. Genuinely, this is, shout out to this girl, by the way. Let me just make sure my ass cheeks are front and center while I take a picture with a 15-year-old. Who is this girl? What a surprise. An entire page full of Jim Selguner bait. If you actively consume this type of content, you're what's wrong with the fitness industry, okay? Just fully contributing towards the degeneration of this industry. Some of you need to be ashamed of yourselves, okay? Genuinely, do better. 1 million likes on this reel. The top comment has over 120,000 likes. I missed
a couple chapters. Cut's going to be crazy.
a couple of chapters. Look, let's click on a random post, right? This one is from April.
Yo, somebody said song name. On God, though. Side note, that's facts. Any gym influencer somehow has like the most niche funk fucking edit music. Bro, like you'll just be like, it'll just be like a random like video of them doing curls and it'll just be this playing. And you're like, what song is that?
Just a couple of chapters. Look, let's click on a random post, right? This one is from April 2025. And this is what he looks like. And then let's just scroll up a couple of times. This is 4 months
Wait, how much does he weigh?
later. Times.
225 at 5'11". Yeah. And it's like, it's not like a fat 225. Like the guys in my high school that were benching 405 when they were like sophomores were like 6'2", 340. But they were, like, big.
This is 4 months later. A completely different person. Look at the top comment. Every single time he posts, he grows twice in size. 20,000 likes. And of course, his strength just inexplicably skyrockets as well. Here he says that he could bench 315 pounds for multiple reps only a week after benching for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, this kid's 15, and he's 3 inches shorter than me, but 40 pounds heavier.
And that's 140 kilograms, right?
All right, now I'm starting to see the steroids.
Totally normal. And then of course, only 2 months later,
Holy shit! Yo, putting 4 plates on each side. My God.
he's hitting 405 pounds on the bench press. That's
Bro.
180 kilograms.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, come on. To put that into perspective, it can take natural lifters with decent genetics and dedicated bench programming up to a decade.
Yeah, like right now, I like half-ass my lifting. If I really just locked in at the gym, really only spent every day working out. Right now, my max is probably around 270. I think in 6 months, I could bench 270 to maybe 340, but I'm also 24. Like, that's a crazy increase.
To hit 4 plates on the bench.
340. I think if 340 is crazy, sketty. I know that I'm very self-absorbed in this sense, but hear me out. If I dropped everything that I was doing and I just worked out all the time and I only cared about working out and weightlifting and powerlifting, I think I could bench 340 in 6 months. Do it then? No, because I would have to spend fucking 3 hours a day at the gym, and I would have to focus on everything that I'd eat. I would also bulk like crazy. That's how I would do it. I would gain 30 pounds, and then I would put 60 on the bench. That's what I do. I barely bench at 350. I barely hit 315. Sketty, you work out all the time. I feel like you're like a meathead. I think that bro, I'm not trying to sit here and be like, if I locked in, I could bench a lot. When I was a sophomore, I could squat 315 ass to grass for 10 reps. And I was 165. Like, I think if I actually fucking like just locked in, I could do like 320.
Even never be able to. And Eric does it at age 15 after only 2 months of benching. Right? That's it.
That's not that hard. I'm not saying it's that hard. I'm not bragging. See, here's that one chat. That's not that hard. I'm actually 16 and I fucking squat 485. Meanwhile, you hit a fucking 30-degree squat and then fucking just stand back up.
The industry's leading authority on natty or not, so I feel like I've seen more than enough to pass a verdict here. I've reviewed the evidence. I've consulted the comments.
Heaviest you've ever been, 185. Right now, I'm probably like 178.
Section. I have stared at pictures.
This is making me want to lock in. This chat doubting me right now is actually like pissing me off. I'm so serious. Chat lock. Chat. No, I'm so dead ass. Now I really want to. But I get up too late, bro. I'm a bum. I play video games till 3 a.m. and then I fucking wake up at like 10:30.
A shirtless 13-year-old for much longer than I'm comfortable admitting. I mean, seriously, I was doing research for this video and writing this script in a coffee shop.
I would love to be 200 pounds, but like a good actually, no, like 195. Not in the twos. I would love to be like a 190 to 195, just in shape, though.
There were people sitting behind.
Let me train you. I'll get you to 225. Brother, I would have to gain 45 pounds. I would be fat. If I gained 45 pounds in 6 months, I would look horrible.
Me. Do you know how weird I felt? It took me like 10 minutes to realize working on this video in public wasn't my brightest idea and packed my bags to go home. Anywho.
Hop on gear. Now you're talking. Nope, don't do that. Don't do steroids.
I'm digressing. By the power vested in me by absolutely no one, I officially ruled this kid a fake natty. Now, as I said at the start of the video, the writing was already on the walls years ago. Of course, any teenager that suddenly finds social media fame for their physique is going to be at an increased risk of hopping on PEDs due to industry pressure. We've seen this happen countless of times. But what sealed the deal for me, what made me confident that it was only going to be a matter of time before Eric would start sipping on the forbidden Capri Sun, was that Young LA sponsorship. And this speaks to a much bigger problem within the industry, especially regarding Young LA. You see, Young LA, more so I feel like than most of their competitors, seem to be really focused on capturing as much of that teenage lifter market share as possible. And there's inherently nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing wrong with catering towards this age group. Teenage lifters.
Well, yeah, teenage lifters is going to be the highest growing market, and it's your biggest competitor is Gymshark. I mean, Gymshark did this years ago, though. Like, for those of you that remember, Young LA 10 years ago, I don't know if it was a thing, but like, when I was 15, my version of Young LA was Gymshark. Gymshark was the gym brand.
Especially,
that was what everybody wanted to wear. It was like they had the coolest stringers and like pants, shorts.
Online make up a really big part of this industry. A lot of people, including myself, got into lifting as teenagers. No, the problem lies when you then cede all responsibility in favor of increasing numbers and virality as much as possible, which has led Young LA to repeatedly sponsor some of the most egregious teenage PED cases in the industry. For example, do you guys remember this kid, Logan Dishman, that 17-year-old Young LA athlete who claimed he was natty while benching nearly 1,000 pounds, but then exposed himself?
I mean, okay, I'm not trying to rule check you right now, but butts off the bench here, pal.
1,000 pounds.
Butts off the bench here, pal. That's not a real 900-pound lift.
But then exposed himself.
If I put my butt off the bench, I could... No.
When he got hospitalized for using a dirty steroid needle.
Oh my god.
And his heart stopped beating while in the ER, causing him to go on life support. Well, he's still sponsored by Young LA. They didn't issue a single statement, didn't disavow the abuse of PEDs amongst minors. Instead, they kept him on and continued inviting him to their events. They made it very clear that the only thing they care about is how many eyeballs these kids can bring to their brand, which is already bad enough on its own. But then they take someone like Eric English, a young, impressionable 14-year-old, and they fly him out to those same events so he can intermingle with those older teenagers who are openly abusing performance-enhancing drugs, teenagers who Young LA are directly enabling. Do we really think these dudes are not going to rub off on a 14-year-old? And yet this guy, Logan Dishman, does not even appear to be the main influence in Eric's decision to hop on PEDs. No. That honor belongs to another teenager, also sponsored by Young LA, also seemingly introduced to Eric through a Young LA event, who also appears to be throwing everything but the kitchen sink at himself when it comes to PEDs. Meet Gentile Lifts. Probably the most obnoxious fitness influencer you'll see in a very long time. He got his break on the internet by injecting himself with copious amounts of steroids and creating what can only be described as some kind of weird, niche fetish content. No. I'm not joking, okay? How else are you gonna describe this?
This back exercise is gonna make you squeal like a pig.
What the fuck?
Exercise is gonna make you squeal like a pig. Oink, oink, don't be a little pig. Let's go hit some heavy hammer curls. 70 pounds, she couldn't make it 2 rounds. I bent over like she was last night. She was the opposite of tight. The 115 flew faster than her cream. Back exercise that will make you scream like a monkey. Make sure to get your potassium in.
Yeah, seems like a normal, well-adjusted fella
Why are people like, but like it? That has to be like rage bait content.
to me. You'd think surely nobody actually watches this shit, right? Like, it has to be contained to some weird fringe subgroup of gym cells. Nope. 164,000 likes. The irreparable damage Shizzy has done to the fitness industry truly needs to be studied.
Scary 1,000-pound front squats.
Okay, no, that's kind of funny though. Like him starting out the video wearing a mask, just red in the face, flexing, screaming in the mic.
Just a regular healthy 07 kid. So we first see Eric and Gentile meeting up way before he made his insane transformation and before he even started bulking for the first time. This video right here is from August 2024. As expected, they met up at a Young LA gym, as you can see in the background. They seemingly didn't collab again until right around Eric made his suspicious transformation. But ever since that transformation, it's as if every other reel this guy posts includes Eric in some way, shape, or form. They've gotten very chummy with each other. So right as Eric makes a highly suspicious transformation, he starts hanging out with a teenager that very obviously abuses PEDs. It's not very difficult to see what most likely happened here.
Watch the bulk get us massive.
Well, the scariest part is like this is gonna fuck up their hormones. Like if they ever get off gear, and they've been on gear since they were like 15. They're gonna have to be on basically hormone replacement therapy for the rest of their life. Like they're not, yeah, you're not gonna naturally create testosterone as a male if you're on steroids, like say 14 to 28, and he gets off when he's like 29. Like he's gonna be on test, not like steroid test, but he's gonna be on test for the rest of his life.
Sure to eat.
Just why? Why would you want to look like this?
Unless you're sketty, of course. Yeah, unless you're sketty, because your mind and your body are a temple.
understand Eric is bulking with the intention to cut, but this guy Gentile has looked like this for years. Just grotesque. And that steroid moon face is not doing Eric any favors. Even though he's a handsome young man, all that water weight and redness has him looking like... Okay, I'm not gonna say that. That's mean. Fuck it, I'm gonna say it. Looking like John Pork.
The bulk is real. He went from, hello, my name is Eric English, to, I'm Eric. Give me another burger. He added over 100 pounds to his bench in just 4 months. All
Okay, yeah, 100 pounds to a bench in 4 months is nuts.
because of the bulk.
POV, you showed your boy
100 pounds at the bench in 4 months. And that's starting at 305 to 405. And y'all are saying I'm crazy. Well, he's also on steroids. But I'm saying I would go from like 270 to 340, which would be a 70 increase.
how to bulk. This being
months.
obvious code for you showed your boy how to run a cycle. Okay, this is this guy's entire thing. Gentile's entire brand is just rage baiting everybody by consistently claiming he's natural
Are they
to
just
farm
gonna
and
find my TikTok and I'm gonna feel embarrassed? Sketty lifts, probably. Oh yeah, this is Sketty. Low genuinely a smooth 3 seconds away from blasting gear, getting famous, and claiming Natty / vegan. I think that's the move. You'd be like the new David Lade. You'd be like, oh, no, I'm not on gear.
engagement. And this is just another instance of that, passing off Eric's obvious PED use as quote-unquote just a bulk. Take a look at this comment I found in a Reddit thread about Gentile lifts. I couldn't directly verify these claims myself, so do take them with a pinch of salt, but nonetheless I figured they were worth mentioning. This commenter basically wrote that Gentile got exposed with some other guys including Logan Dishman for being in a quote-unquote we are kids and take PEDs group. He then also claims that there was early footage of Gentile in 2023 that was leaked where he said that he had been on a cycle for a while and that he was gonna claim Natty for jokes and sponsors. I gotta say, it does all sound very in character for these two meatheads. These are the influences in Eric's life. This is why I say that it should have come to no surprise to anyone that was paying attention that Eric would eventually hop on PEDs. This is what Young LA is
But I just don't understand the reason to lie about being on steroids, because the majority of these brands will still sponsor you if you're on steroids. They don't care, right? Like if you're a gymfluencer and you're on roids, like you are, that doesn't mean you're not going to get sponsored by fucking protein companies and shit like that. They don't give a fuck, right? Because they still sponsor open bodybuilders. They sponsor IFBB pros, and IFBB pros are all on roids. It's just, maybe they don't talk about it, but it's like, he's a child. Yeah, but I'm saying the guys that are like 19, 20. Why are they saying it has to be just for clicks. I'm not talking about Eric right now. I'm talking about these guys that are like 19, 20, 25. Like, why are they saying they're not on roids? Just say you're on roids. Who cares, right? Like Noel Diesel, I follow him, or Diesel, however you say his name. He's on roids. He says he's on roids, right? And which I respect. Like, if you're I don't care if you're a gym influencer on roids. Just say you're on steroids, right? In this case, I don't think this kid should be taking steroids because he's fucking 15 and it's gonna ruin his body. But
okay, it should speak to how cooked this industry is.
And then you get worried, man. Like, dude, like then you get into the fear that these guys will die when they're like 30.
Can't even expect the
amount of gym influencers that have heart attacks when they're young.
Bare minimum level of responsibility from one of the largest brands in this space. You know, it's not like we're asking them to build schools in Africa or send humanitarian aid to war zones. Just maybe don't enable steroid use amongst minors. You know, maybe don't sponsor and promote 17-year-olds that take steroids, lie about it, and then get hospitalized due to them. Maybe don't introduce impressionable 14-year-olds to a climate riddled with PED. Corrupting the youth just to sell a couple of extra t-shirts is truly an interesting business model, I gotta say.
The devil's advocate response here is they're gonna do it either way because they look up to these guys, even if you're not putting them on in a physical sense where like Eric's gonna meet the Trend twins, he's still gonna watch them. And so they're still just going to take the steroids.
But hey, Batman merch, right everyone? I get to feel like Bruce Wayne on my Demon Winter arc, fueled by weird cuck fantasies. And to be truthful, as much as I like to point a finger at Young LA, they are simply a
Noel's on the boat with them? Yeah, because Noel's a Young LA influencer.
symptom of a much broader problem. The reason why they enable this stuff is because there's no downside for them in doing so. Because teenage PED use as a whole...
And I don't think, for the people that he's like, oh, Noel's on the boat with them, Noel doesn't promote steroid usage to Eric. I guarantee you he doesn't. Because he openly says on his videos, like, I'm on steroids. That doesn't mean you should take them.
Has just become way too normalized in this industry. It's why Larry Wheels asks a 14-year-old if he has any plans of hopping on steroids in the future, as if that's a normal thing to do, and why he receives almost no backlash for doing so.
I did become enhanced at 17. Is that something that you're willing to do in the future?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Whatever it takes?
Whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes. That's the mindset I had.
That's the mindset I had. Larry Wheels is so dumb, bro. Like, I genuinely think he's like a good, well-meaning guy, but he just doesn't think stuff through.
Yeah, I don't think like Larry Wheels meant bad when he said that, but it's like from the outside perspective, it's like you're kind of like low-key convincing this kid to take steroids. But from Larry's perspective, he's just like, oh, well, I was on steroids when I was 17.
This particular case to be exceptionally unfortunate because he truly didn't have to hop on PEDs. There's a reason why Eric managed to grow his following to over 1.5 million followers without ever touching a needle. The kid was genuinely unique in that he started lifting and documenting his journey at such a young age, and that you could see him not only grow up but develop himself as a natural lifter from scratch. But now he's just become another fake Natty. This is a great comment right here. What would little you think about you hopping on steroids? And Eric replies with, speaking out of ignorance. This guy comments a needle emoji. Eric replies with, insecurity. So much potential. Yet in the end, he just became another gaslighting fake Natty to add to the pile. Since I know you'll be watching this video.
Yeah, because it's always like they never just take a steroid test to be like, I'm not on roids. They're always just like, nah, I'm not on roids. Like, you could just like prove that. Take a drug test. That was a good video. I have no hate towards that kid. It's just like, don't, you know, like if he is on steroids, which, you know, most people's signs are pointing towards yes, it's like, it's more so the worry of like, hey man, that's like really bad for you. Like that could kill you. I'm sorry, chat. I know I pissed 4 times this stream. I gotta piss again.